What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Our Killer Obsession with James and Crystal, your true crime connoisseurs. If you're new here, thanks for joining us, and we really hope you hit that subscribe button before you leave.
Today we're going to talk about the murder of Skylar Neese. She was a 16-year-old girl in West Virginia. Her parents described her as a bright, happy kid, good in school, typical teenager, tons of friends. She worked at a fast food restaurant. Sounds like most of us when we were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She had two BFFs. They were together all the time, like three peas in a pod. Skylar met her first BFF, Sheila Eddy, in elementary school. They remained best friends all throughout school, junior high, high school, everything. Freshman year, they met Rachel Schoaf.
Okay.
Rachel and Sheila hit it off a little bit more than Rachel and Skylar and started to become really close. And that kind of drove a wedge between Sheila and Skylar, the first two BFFs.
Made a little bit of jealousy in there.
So they started to actually compete for Sheila's attention, and Sheila loved it. She loved all the attention she was getting, so she probably promoted the fighting a little bit,
Okay.
hanging out with one best friend rather than the other.
Yeah.
Typical teenage girl BS in high school, Well, it went a little further than that. On July 5th, 2012, Rachel and Sheila invited Skylar to go to their typical hangout spot. It was a hangout spot in the woods of Pennsylvania, just over the state line. The type of place where kids go to drink and smoke, and get away from their parents, do things they're not supposed to do.
Yeah, I know we had one of those as a kid too.
Exactly.
A couple depending on whose house we were hanging out at.
Exactly. Whose attic,
right.
or woods or whatever. But yeah, so they hung out in the woods in Pennsylvania. And so that night, Skylar said, heck yeah, after her job, she snuck out. And they knew she snuck out because she had removed the screen from her bedroom window and hid it in her closet.
Okay.
And they were on the ground level apartment. Mm-hmm. And so she pushed a bench from outside under the window to make it easy for her to hop out.
Yep, definitely pre-planned.
They ended up finding that later, so they knew.
Gotcha.
And there was also surveillance cameras nearby, and they could see when she left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Rachel and Sheila were actually waiting for her a little ways down the road in Sheila's vehicle. But what Skylar didn't know is that they had planned to kill her.
Oh.
Yeah, they came equipped with a trunk full of serial killer equipment. Mm-hmm. They had packed towels, bleach, a shovel, knives, even a change of clothes.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently they had wanted to kill Skylar, dispose of her, change their clothes, and get back home before anybody even realized anything was happening. So they had her. They drove to the hangout spot, just all hanging out, smoking, whatever they were planning on doing. And when they got there, they all got out of the car, headed to their spot with Skylar leading the way. Well, Rachel and Sheila behind her each counted to 3 and then attacked her at the same time.
Oh, my goodness. So this was really thought out. Like, they had a whole entire plan going into this.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes, they did. They had it all planned out, trunk full of equipment. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Wow.
So they stabbed her dozens of times. They said they stabbed her until she, quote, stopped making weird noises.
Oh, my goodness. That's terrible.
And this is supposed to be their best friend.
Wow.
Especially Sheila. Sheila and her had been best friends since elementary school.
Yeah.
So you think like hangouts, sleepovers, know their
definitely,
families,
You would have thought they made
like
some
sisters.
sort of bond or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. They tried to bury her. They had taken the shovels. They tried to bury her. But if you know that area of Appalachia, it's really rocky. Mm-hmm. You're in the mountains. Mm-hmm. They couldn't break ground. It was too rocky.
Oh, yeah.
So they decided to drag her body over near a tree and cover her in branches instead. Yeah, and she laid there for 6 months. Until she was found.
Holy cow. That's terrible.
Yeah. Before Skylar's body was found, the girls would call her parents every day, asking for updates, posting on social media. They helped distribute missing persons flyers. They were really pretending to be the concerned best friends.
Yeah, you see that a lot. Usually when stuff like that happens, they try to get involved and be out in front. Like, you wouldn't be suspected if you're...
Like that girl that encouraged her boyfriend to kill himself in the car. We'll have to do a story on that, too.
Yeah, and she got out in front of it and acted like
making, posts about it and acting like the poor broken-hearted girlfriend.
Like a victim when she was really
the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing here. These girls were really playing it on like they were sad, fake tears, crocodile tears. Yeah. So the cops kind of had an inkling that maybe the girls had something to do with it because they were always together. So they had questioned the girls about it. They said that they were with her earlier that night, but that they had dropped her off before midnight.
Okay.
But the surveillance video from the neighborhood around showed
Gotcha.
that she was actually leaving at midnight.
So they're
So
like,
their
we took her
times are
home. They're trying to be like, no, she was at home. I don't know.
Yeah, we
but
don't
that's
know
the
what
time
happened.
that she left.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So then in December of 2012, Rachel, the second BFF that came in freshman year, she had a nervous breakdown. She was freaking out about it, guilty conscience, all that stuff. She ended up spending some time in the psych hospital.
Okay.
But when she went home, she called her family attorney, so that makes me think too, no teenager knows how to call an attorney.
Right.
Her parents had to know what was going on and kind of
most
encouraged
definitely.
this.
Yeah.
So she called her attorney and confessed to the murder of Skylar. Together, they went to the police and told the police where to find Skylar's body. In her confession, she did tell them that Sheila was involved. She told them the whole thing. So they wanted to get her to wear a wire to try to get Sheila to admit it too.
Okay.
She did wear a wire, but they really didn't get anything concrete from that. On December 13th, the next day, police did find Skylar's body. And Sheila, yet to be named as a suspect. She doesn't know anything really that's going on
told
yet.
on yet. And,
yeah,
and all
she has
that,
no
right?
idea. So she, still playing innocent, posted this tweet. Rest easy, Skylar. You'll always be my best friend. I miss you more than you could ever know.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Holy cow.
Faking it.
Yeah,
Hardcore.
and it kind of sounds like Sheila was the brains of the operation almost.
Yeah, it sounds like she was really the antagonizer.
Gotcha.
The first BFF, too, the one that she's supposed to be closest with Skylar. Yeah, it sounds like she really...
Yeah, and then she's
thought it
playing
all up.
another hardcore victim, like, poor me.
yeah, and actually Rachel was the one that broke down and brought it all to light. So
Wow.
with the info that Rachel provided to the police, they were able to get a warrant to search Sheila's car. And in the car, they did find Skylar's blood on the seats.
Okay.
So then when they asked them why they killed her, they said, we just didn't like her anymore. And we didn't want to be her friend.
Wow. How about just like ignore her or don't answer her calls or
Right, just stop
tell
being
your
friends with her.
mom, say, hey, tell her I'm not here all the time, or just be like, hey, I don't want to be your friend.
Right. Well, it turns out that's not the real excuse.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So it came out years later that Sheila and Rachel were actually in a lesbian relationship.
Oh.
And in high school, back in the early 2000s, it wasn't a super common thing to be out. You would get teased, you'd get picked on. So they were kind of afraid of this coming out. And they said that Skylar knew about it.
Okay.
And they didn't want her to tell anybody.
Oh.
So that's why they did it.
Okay. They're afraid of being outed. So they're going to get rid of the one person that knows the truth and that could, out them and destroy them, basically.
Exactly.
Wow. Terrible.
So Rachel took a plea deal. She pled guilty to second-degree murder, received 30 years and the possibility of parole after 10. Yeah. I don't know about parole, but when you're young, too, that's kind of a hard decision. As a teenager, you change a lot from your teens to even 30. You're a completely different person.
That's true. I mean, I guess if there's ever any hope of an actual rehabilitation, it's going to be with the young ones, where they go in young and they mature and you actually have a chance of rehabilitating them and being able to let them out in society again.
Realize that what they did was terrible.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you're a different person.
Yeah. You get somebody in their
older.
30s or 40s, and I mean, that's unlikely that's ever going to happen.
Sheila was charged with kidnapping, first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit crime. She pled not guilty. Well, Pennsylvania wanted to charge Sheila with stuff from their jurisdiction as well.
Okay.
And she got scared.
Okay.
So she did take a plea deal and pled guilty to first-degree murder.
Gotcha.
She was obviously found guilty. She pled guilty.
Yeah.
She was sentenced to life with mercy.
Okay.
That means that she would be eligible for parole after 15 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Only 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd still put her in her 30s or, something like that.
By the time trial is done, they were probably closer to 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do believe Sheila was charged as an adult.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So on May 9th, 2023, so this year, Rachel was up for parole, but she was denied. So they're both still in jail. In another 5 years, Sheila will be up for her first parole hearing.
Okay. All right. Wow. And I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I don't see her getting that either.
No, especially she
I
seemed
mean-
like the brains of the operation and the one really pushing everything.
Yeah. And then she's not even the one who came forward
No,
and
she
said,
tried
"Hey,
to play.
this is." Yeah.
She tried to plead not guilty, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, you gotta stay in there, man. I don't know if you can ever get out, really.
No. The only good thing that did come out of this was the family created a thing called Skylar's Law.
Okay.
So, you've heard of an Amber Alert,
Right.
right? When the kids
Yep.
are kidnapped, they put out the car and the description and everything.
Yep.
Well, they didn't consider Skylar a technical Amber Alert. They considered her a runaway teenager.
Okay. I mean, but still, you're a teenager and
You're missing, and you're
exactly.
still underage. You're not an adult. You didn't run away.
Exactly.
You know, technically, you're not allowed to just make your own decisions and leave.
Right.
So they made this law where it doesn't matter the category now. If you are underage and you're technically missing, whether you're a runaway teen or not, they can put out an Amber Alert for you.
I mean, well, that's good because regardless of the situation, you know, it happens, and the family needs these kids at home before something terrible happens to them, and they're never seen again because of emotions or something, you know. So.
Yep. That is the terrible, tragic story of Skylar Neese.
Yeah, it was a short one today, but it's interesting, and it always makes you wonder why kids choose to do this kind of stuff at such an early age, and how are they even thinking of this stuff?
Right. How do they come up with this master plan? And we've heard of other stories, which we will probably do in the future, of kids killing other kids or their parents or whatever. And yeah, how are kids capable of this? How does it get into their mind?
Yeah, so young too. It happens with a lot of them that we talk about. You know, it seems to start early age with something that happened, but to act on it at such a young age is weird. I
can't wrap your mind around it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like we said in the beginning, we hope you hit that subscribe button before you're out of here, and don't forget to hit that bell so that way you don't miss our upcoming episodes, and we will catch you next week.
Yep.